That's what I'm saying. I love you. I love you. Appreciate you. Thank you, President Robinson. To all my FAMU class of 2019, to the parents, to the family members, to the students, to the administration, I just want to say thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here, and I thank the Most High God for this moment, to be returning back to Florida A&M and speak at a graduation. This is a moment I never imagined would happen in my life, but I'm here, and I thank God for this moment. When I got to tell my friends and my mom that I was coming back to my alma mater, she said, I don't know if you could call it your alma mater because you didn't graduate. I said, well, look, this school, FAMU, has meant so much to me that I'm calling it something, and I just found out that I am an alumnus because I attended enough time here that I'm an alumnus of FAMU. And I want to say to our graduates, you all have already surpassed me because you have your degree. And I look at that in admiration. It's always something I aspire to. And actually, President Robinson just gave me the opportunity and chance to say, hey, maybe you could take some courses online and get your degree. I was like, President Robinson, you know I'm going to pay somebody to take them courses. I ain't going to do that to you. No, but seriously. Seriously. I truly see in you all something that is success. When I look at you graduates, I see success. When I look around the room, I see a beautiful black group of women and men that are successful. But now is your time to define what success is. What is success for you? If you took a moment right now to think about what success is for you, what would it look like? When I asked my daughter this question, she's graduating this year too. She said, a job. I said, I understand that, and many of you may feel that way. Many of you, of course, are looking forward to achieving a job, and you will do that. But once you get that job, what will your measure of success be defined by? Will it be defined by your salary, or the brand or company that you work for, the cachet of that company? Will it be defined by the car you got because of the company you work for? What will your success be defined by? Your success must have intention and purpose. Your success must have love and passion. I remember my days here at FAM. It was some of the greatest times of my life. I always cherish it. I remember hanging out on the set, eating lunch at the Orange Room. And that's what they called it back then. They still call it that? Yes. Eating lunch at the Orange Room. I used to love like Cornish hen, and I loved those days they had Cornish hen and fried chicken. I hate to sound stereotypical, but that was the truth. But as President Robinson said, I'm now a pescatarian, but during those days I was looking forward to being around at the Orange Room, getting that free food, and I achieved a lot of things here. In one semester, I actually got a 4.0, and I eventually attended the School of Business, which you all know FAMU is respected much for its School of Business. But one thing I had to do was dig deep to find what my passion was. No matter what my grade point average was, no matter what school I was enrolled in, I had to find out what my passion was. Because my whole life up to that point, my measure of success was based on numbers. It was based on also what other people defined for me to be success. But I had to search my soul and find out what my dream was. The first part to our success is having a dream and being passionate and loving that dream. Well, once you get this dream, that's only the beginning. And if you don't know it right now, students, it's okay. Because your dream is actually a journey. Your success is actually a journey. You know, on this journey, you have to believe. You have to believe. You have to be able to walk out on faith. Now, when I told my mother that I was like going to leave school, my mother is a teacher. She's an educator. I was going to leave FAM to go pursue my career in music. She said, "Are you crazy?" I had financial aid. I was doing well in school, as I said. Fast forward years later, she like, "Hurry up and make an album. I need a new car," you know? Well, I had to find my passion and know what was on my journey. And here's where I began my journey. I began to discover my purpose because I signed a contract and I was like waiting for the record company to start moving. And I was here at FAM like working on my career, working on my art. And I didn't know anything about the music business at the time, but I believed. In my journey, I knew that I had a purpose and I had a higher calling in music and a dream. And no one can tell me different. Nobody has a formula for how you're going to make it happen. The way it happened for me may be different than how it happened for you. But one thing you have to know is that you will make it happen. But on your journey, it will take belief. I had to believe in the process of success because I was at FAM like working on my academics and waiting for this contract to move forward. And even when I released my first album, I thought I was going to come out and just be a superstar. But no, that's not what happened. I remember going from radio station to radio station, record store to record store. I remember coming back to FAM and performing right here in this gymnasium, right here. I performed, I opened up for Luke. And people I went to school with was looking at me like, "What you doing?" They act like they didn't know me. I was performing. People just hadn't received the music. But I had to believe in the journey. I had to know that this was going to happen for me, even if people weren't receiving it yet. Your moments will come in the process of your journey. You will learn so many things in the process of your journey. But what I also recognized as I was going through this journey, meeting people at radio stations and record stores, is I was building relationships. On this path to success, you will build relationships, and these relationships are very important. One of the great things I got to pick up here at the School of Business was about shaking hands and looking people in their eye when you do, and being present when you talk to individuals. These are qualities that I still continue to use as I move through business and through my process of my journey. People remember how you interact with them as you go through your journey. So remember, even if you don't get the job, you leave an incredible impression with the people that you met. But there's also the work. And when I say work, I'm talking about working on the craft. For me, I had to work on the craft to get better. When I said people weren't receiving it, it wasn't because they were just like hating on me. It was just like I needed to work to get better. Yeah, in my mind, I thought like, yeah, I should be a superstar. My raps are the best. What's going on? I should be out there. But I still had some work to do and some developing to do. And I still continue to have that. But as you work, your goals start to increase. I started to say, hey, okay, people don't know me. Well, my next album, I wanted to sell 100,000 copies. That was a lot for me at the time. But little did I know that God had a greater plan on this journey to success. On this journey of success, I had to trust that God's plan, and we have to trust that God's plan is better than ours. Look, I know I'm not as good as the Reverend, but in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This is a greater plan for you. You are destined for a greater plan. Each and every one of you were created by the Creator to go out and do higher things. You may be labeled with a You may be labeled with a profession, but your purpose is higher than your profession. Your success is higher than your profession. This greater plan for me, I would discover that it was really greater than me when I started writing and I started seeing the reactions of certain people. What happened was, I was performing at a show, and after the show, this young man came up to me and said, "Hey, Common, you know, your song, Retrospect for Life, it made me decide to have my child and not have an abortion." And it really affected me when he told me this, because I believe that people should have their own choice, first and foremost. And the power of words and songs I was writing about, I realized it was a greater purpose to it. And it made me value more what I was doing. So with that, I started to believe more in my purpose. It's like even if I got turned down, I knew I had a higher calling. It makes me think of this school I passed in New York when I'm driving up the FDR in New York. I see this school all the time, and written on the school is a saying that you all may have heard before, but each time I see it, it resonates with me in different ways. Whether I'm in a good mood or a bad mood, it just resonates with me. And it says that success is a journey, not a destination. Success is a journey, not a destination. And in that journey, you will continue to evolve. Many of you are graduating with a focus, and you pursue that focus. But at some moment, you may choose to expand. I don't want you to be afraid to expand. Expansion is part of your journey to success. It's part of your evolution. I first started as a hip-hop artist, as a rapper, and I knew I loved acting. I decided to expand as an actor, and it wasn't easy. I was getting turned down for roles. Brother James, who just drove me here, talked about being in the store, and he heard these two men talk about, you know who's speaking at the FAMU commencement ceremony? That guy from John Wick 2. That guy from John Wick 2. They didn't know my name. They just said the guy from John Wick 2. Well, before I got to be that guy from John Wick 2, I was an actor that was striving to get to a certain level, and I was expanding. And in your expansion, you may face a lot of challenges. You may face things that you think like, well, I'm already ready for this. But everything in the journey is part of your process to you developing the skills. And when they told me on one of my first auditions, they told my agent that I was too green, I wasn't ready for it, I just went to my foundation, which was God, to prayer and to belief. And I continued to work on myself. And I came back, and the next audition, I got my first movie, which is called Smoking Aces. Y'all didn't see that one? That's okay. Go back and check it out. Two people was like, hey, yeah. But one of the beautiful things about when I got the film Smoking Aces, it wasn't like I got it and I was like, okay, I'm a movie star, I got it. I thought to myself, what am I going to do with this platform? What am I going to do with this? Because I had a responsibility. As I grew, my definition of success, it expanded. Sometimes people ask me like, man, how do you feel you made it? And it's hard for me to say that I made it. Not because I don't claim it, I'm not grateful, and I know that things have progressed and I have been on my journey. But I actually feel like it's hard for me to say I made it if my community is not all the way where they should be. And along with that, there's more things for me to do in my life. Well, I want you to understand that your success is mine, and my success is yours. As President Robinson said, I was sitting in your seat, I was on the same yard, standing in Gibbs Hall, and here I am. My success is yours, sharing my story with you as you all sit here and inspire me with all the support in your families. But with your success, you have to pay back. You have to pay it back. You have to give it back to the people and go back to where you come from. So that's why I'm here. There's a quote that Dr. King said that I like to think of when it comes to this, because with success comes the responsibility of leadership. I remember one of my good friends told me, yo, Rosh, you got to be a leader, man. I didn't want to accept that responsibility. But once I started thinking about that good parable in the Bible where God talks about the talents and the talents that we receive and making those talents multiply into what they should be, I said I have to accept this responsibility of what it is to be a leader. Well, one of the most important things I found about being a leader is serving. Serving. And today I would like to share with you this quote from Dr. King that really deals with this theme. If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he or she who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's the new definition of greatness. And this morning, the thing I like about it, by giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You don't have to know Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know the Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics and physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be thy servant. When I look around at the world today, we see that being number one or a billionaire in the highest position, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a leader. We look at political people now in this day and time, and some of them are not leaders. Truly being a great leader requires that you must have an expansive vision for humanity, for love and empathy, and a desire to serve. What success ends up being for you once you get to that point is an ability to serve. I'm often asked, what was one of the greatest moments in your career? I tell them the moment we got to perform Glory at the Academy Awards, at the Oscars, John Legend and I. But not because I was up there shining and doing my thing. Yes, that felt great, and I was grateful for that. But that moment was the most important for me because it was bigger than us. The entire journey felt bigger than us. We were representing the people, the women and men of the civil rights movement. We were representing Ava DuVernay and her film, the film Selma. We were representing the young men and women who were being shot down in the streets during this time. And we knew we had the world's attention, so we thought, how can we be radical? How can we be real? How can we speak to the hearts of the people and speak to what needs to be said on the biggest stage that happens, the Oscars? That's why it was the most important moment for me, because it was bigger than us. You know, in serving, you get to take a small step sometimes. Sometimes it's just one step. To serve, you don't actually have to be an entertainer. You don't have to be the richest person. You don't have to be an athlete. We can serve just by the way we treat each other each and every day, the way we look at one another and respect one another and see the God in each other. And if you so happen to have money and you so happen to reach that success level of numbers, then it's up to you to give back. And that's the journey that we all are on. We can do it from wherever we sit and stand. I'm here standing with you, side by side, no greater, no less than. We are all created by the Most High to be equal. I'm right beside you with a purpose, and it's meaningful, and it's transformative. So even if you've recognized it or not recognized it, I'm grateful right now that you are here at this level. And whatever stage you are in your journey towards success, I want to thank all of you for being and wanting to succeed. How many of y'all want to succeed right now? Yeah. Let's go, let's go. I thank you all for loving yourselves and being the ones who touch humanity and others. I thank you, class of 2019, for being leaders. I know that each of us plays their part, so I'm doing my best to motivate and inspire the people that I come in connection with. And as I continue my journey, I think about one of my heroes' words, the great Muhammad Ali. He says, service to others is the rent you pay for the room here on earth. Class of 2019, FAMU, your rent is due. Thank you.